Hey cellos and basses, welcome to Vibrato Bootcamp. We've got 4 stations for you today, and there are just a few supplies you need. One is you'll need your instrument, and you'll also need some sort of little ball, maybe like this, or a little smaller, like a rubber bouncy ball. Nothing too big. And then other than that, oh, and then a shaker, something like filled with beans, like a jar, or a little egg shaker, or like a can of pop or something like that. So if you've got those things ready to go, then I'll see you in boot camp. Here we go. Hey everyone. So our first station for today's Vibrato boot camp is what we call polishing the string. And now we've talked about, going up and down the string, polishing to practice for shifting. This time we're going to do it a little differently. I've wrapped a cloth around my wrist. You have a sweatband. You don't have to, but it just, I want that image. The main thing is that all these exercises are about keeping our arm and wrist and hands all kind of focusing as one unit. So start with your wrist and just trace up and down the string like that. And slowly get a little tighter in your, and just push, like maybe there's a little bit of a dirty spot right there that you're polishing off. And then go back and forth. So the main thing is we're not flopping our wrist around, we are nice and straight so that all of this functions as one unit. So polish the string and slowly narrow the polishing part of it. Okay, for our second station, we're going to take that polishing of the fingerboard, and one of the most common things is to take a can of soda and to shake it straight up and down. Or if you have like a can of, like a shaker or beans, whatever, but the common one is to take a can of soda, like you're trying to shake it up really, really hard, right? Like you want it to explode. So you just keep shaking it, right? You just keep shaking it up and down. You don't flop your hand, right? You're gonna shake it, so you gotta keep your wrist straight, and you just keep shaking it, right? So that's what you do, and you're just gonna shake that can of beans or whatever, and that's it. Ah, jeez. Woohoo! Okay, this next part of the Vibrato Bootcamp is called the chop. I've got my headband on, and I'm going to show you. So part of the vibrato action is a lot like a karate chop. So just like we do this chop with the board. Jeez. Okay, I had a little accident, but I've asked my assistant here to show you how it's done. So Hugo, show us the karate chop. Hi-ya. Again, you almost, oh, okay, that's how it's done, all right? So let's take it to the instrument now. One more time. Hugo says he can do it with an even smaller board. Go for it, Hugo.
Yeah.
Oh, all right. High five, high five. Oh my gosh. You gotta be careful with that hit. Oh, man. Okay, so the point of that is that when we do vibrato, either on bass or on cello, we want to think not just going up and back. It's not just an up and back, but it's also down and back. And just like that karate chop keeps a nice straight wrist, we also want to make sure that chop. So come down into like 3rd or 4th position and just kind of gently chop against the shoulder of your instrument. And just back and forth, chop, 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 chop. Right, Hugo? You like the chop, don't you? You want to go do some more chopping?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay, you go do that. Chop,
I need
chop,
help.
chop. Oh, you need help? Okay.
I'm
All right, I'll be right back with our next station. Okay. Hopefully you've survived to station 4. For this last one, we're actually going to refine that motion a little more. Take a little ball, get this like foot rub ball, or a little rubber ball or whatever. Put it on the string, wherever, and use that good left hand position, but one little thing, you got that ball in there. And then you're just gonna use that nice straight wrist and roll back and forth over the ball. Okay. And then once you do that, it won't be perfect. You might roll over your other fingers. If your ball allows it, you can try one finger, maybe second finger, even fourth finger. And you just roll that back and forth. And notice that nice rotation. My elbow is relatively still, and my whole wrist rotates as one. And there is your vibrato. All right. On our next lesson, we will start to add some sound to this and practice using this motion and actually making music with it. So, hope you did not injure yourself in the course of doing these stations, and good luck practicing.